Any Westerner visiting India for the first time is struck with the teeming masses of humanity. Crowds seem to be everywhere, and some people attribute India's poverty to overpopulation. India has 1/3 of the land area of the U.S. and 3 times the people, so we are 9 times overcrowded. Of course we have poverty. But does a high population density cause poverty? Let's compare India's population density with that of other nations. As of 2014, India had 410 people per square kilometer. The Netherlands, though, had 417. South Korea, 517. Taiwan, 652. If India is overpopulated, these countries are more so. But they aren't characterized by poverty. But never mind those examples. How about Hong Kong? 6,765 PSK, 16 times the density of India. Singapore, at 7,804 PSK, is 19 times more populated than India. If India's problems arise from population density, you would expect these countries to have greater problems of similar nature, but they don't. Something more fundamental than crowded cities is at work. It's a cultural narrative driven by naturalism. Evolutionism regards people as mouths to be fed. Humans are consumers of resources rather than God image bearers who discover resources and create wealth. Are too many people bad for a nation? That's the popular line. Humans comprise a drag on the economy. They generate pollution, tear up the roads, strip the forests, bleach the soil. People are consumers of scarce resources. But what does our nature reveal, as affirmed by Scripture? And God said to them, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." After the flood, God repeated this mandate to Noah. "Go out from the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." God's position on the matter can hardly be mistaken, especially given where in his story this mandate appears. Too many Christ followers don't get this. But some people who make no claim to Christianity seem to be informed by biblical principles. For example, aerospace engineer and author Robert Zubrin, in his article "Yale Professor Explains Hitler's Malthusianism, Thinks There's Something to It," says this: "Competition for scarce resources like land, food, and energy is effective as a demagogic myth, but it's not reality. There was no ecological crisis in the 1930s any more than there is today. What there was then, as there is today, was ideological insanity. The Nazis' war had no rational basis. Germany never needed more living space. Germany today has much less land per person, but a far higher living standard than it had under the Third Reich. The problem was all in their heads." He continues, "Similarly, today there is no resource crisis. There are far more resources available per capita today than ever before in human history. That's because resources are defined by human creativity. Thus, contrary to Malthus and all his followers, the global standard of living has continuously gone up as the world's population has increased. The more people, especially free and educated people, the more inventors, and inventions are cumulative. God is pro-human. He created humans, loves humans, invites humans into his family. When Zubrin identifies Nazism as anti-human, he is aligning with the Judeo-Christian principle." Zubrin continues, "The fundamental question boils down to this: are humans destroyers or creators? If the idea is accepted that the world's resources are fixed with only so much to go around, then each new life is unwelcome. Each unregulated act or thought is a menace. Every person is fundamentally the enemy of every other person, and each race or nation is enemy of every other race or nation. The ultimate outcome of such a worldview can only be enforced stagnation, tyranny, war, and genocide. Are humans destroyers or creators?" Zubrin asks. That's a great question, but it poses something of a false dichotomy. As image bearers of God, yes, we are creators. But as fallen human beings, we are also destroyers of the world God has made. Perhaps a more accurate question would be, are human beings primarily consumers of resources or creators of resources? Zubrin clearly regards humans as creators, and he's right. The primary creator spoke, and from emptiness and darkness came light, air, water, dirt, creatures. One creature he made as a secondary creator who takes the stuff of his world and makes gardens, clocks, stories, symphonies, skyscrapers. This is the cultural mandate. But after the fall, humans also became destroyers. Stagnation, tyranny, war, and genocide, these are the actions of fallen humans. That's the world of humans into which Jesus sends us to disciple the nations so the creation can flourish as he intended.